Hey you guys, it's Jaffe. This is the Friday form video, which we're now doing on Monday because a lot of people were out, people were at E3, and we've gathered a handful of the folks around the table. Instead of walking around the office today, we were just going to kind of let you listen in on some of our thoughts and feedback and views of what E3 was like, specifically, or mostly specifically to Drawn to Death, but also just as a show in general. So you want to just go around and see what you thought?
Let's start with Tobin.
Tobin, how was your E3 experience and how was Drawn to Death?
Drawn to Death, I thought, turned out really impressive as we got at the show. As we got, I mean, we had people constantly coming up to it. We had a lot of repeat people coming up. People seemed to be really hooked. We seemed to really have a good fan base going and stuff there. People seemed excited. Even the people that you had like somewhat negative comments here and there, so guys seemed to enjoy it as a whole. So,
what do you think the biggest lesson, like to improve the game, that we should take away from E3 is?
Well, I mean, I still think it's tuning. Is because we have a lot of tuning to do. I think
specifically, like, what kind of tuning did you see on display?
Well, let's see. I think a lot of it was like the hand, just like that. Like when they would actually, that's another problem too. I don't think they use it, as much as they should be for something such a big feature of the game. I don't think it's being used as much right now, so because it's kind of hard for people to find it. But the people that did use it and stuff like that were pretty much creaming everybody with it. Just it was really overpowered, but we knew it was overpowered going in, so it wasn't really a surprise there. But we had to fix it.
Okay. Johnny Ross, you were at E3. What'd you think?
It was really good. Like a lot of good constant flow of people coming through and playing the game, and even people who just like walk right past the Drawn to Death booth. I heard a lot of comments on, wow, that art style looks really cool, and a lot of good feedback both from people who played it and came by.
We went in. I'll come back, but I have to say we should just make it conversational, just so we can don't forget things. But we did go in not knowing, I think, because art style has always been sort of a love it, hate it kind of thing. When we would bring people in or we would do focus tests. And I would say, and I don't think it's even in question, correct me if I'm wrong, but that was the consistently, that was the biggest thing people liked or mentioned about the game. I mean, I think maybe it was like you said, 20-1, where people were like, oh my god, I love this art style looks so great, this looks so cool, so yay, right?
Also, you saw the GameSpot article, right?
The GameSpot article, there were, let's come back to that.
Okay.
But on the art side, yay for you guys and us as a team, but certainly the artist, I mean, it looks...
Yeah, they're doing a phenomenal job. I'm coming in biased, of course, but I heard from multiple people, some that didn't even know our game, like I saw that from across the floor or across Sony's booth, and I just had to walk over and see it. So it stood out. It was a real draw.
Granted, some people thought it was a Vita game, but they had to be corrected.
Really?
Well, they're like, is this a Vita? but when people actually got close, when they got close up to it, and they were like, I mean, everybody was like, wow, this game looks great. And that's what we were. Nick even asked this morning. It's like, do we push that even more? I think the answer is no.
Push it how? Push it where?
Well, like the outline stuff. And
well, that's
still
missing. I'm gonna, till I die, until they pry this game from our cold dead hands, I'm gonna be pushing for the outline shader.
But I think it's go ahead.
But even like Coliseum, which wasn't done, there's only one guy that I talked to. He's also a developer. Used to work at Rockstar. That's like, oh yeah, I can tell an A/B difference between A-Town and Coliseum, but otherwise people thought, even though Coliseum's half done, they were like, hey, this looks awesome, right?
I mean, that's the difference between, I mean, I'll tell you who it is, and the one edit we'll do to this is just bleep out the name. Just because I don't know if they would appreciate me saying this to anyone other than the team, but it was clearly meant, I assume, to be shared with the team. But he said to me Friday, he said, out of all the games he played at the show, Game Beast, which was Double Fine's game, and Drawn to Death were the most fun games he played at the whole show.
Wow.
So, which was great. But in regards to the art style, though, I think that's the thing. It's like, I mean, this game, along with a lot of other small games, I mean, our budget is I can't tell you what the budget is, but it's low compared to
Uncharted 4?
Well, there are games that are north of 100 million, and that ain't hard to figure out which ones those are. And there's not just one. There's a lot of games that are in that world. And so the fact that we're able, at least in that person's mind, plus other people's minds that we talk to kind of hang at fun factor. Because we'd always been going, look, it's a service-based game. It's meant to be, about concepts and gameplay and executing well, but never going toe-to-toe with the Uncharted's of the world. I'm glad that the response was not, oh, your art
It's
you know,
50%.
or even animation. There was one or two people that said, "Oh, it's a little poppy," but I think no one else said anything except positive stuff, which I think is like it just gives you a north star about how finished do you need to be in a service-based game, or can you afford to be where it hurts the product versus an actual retail game. And I think it's a very different answer depending on your game.
And one of the last focus test goals, which we didn't really get to, was we wanted to specifically focus test how done the game is on the visual animation art side. But I think we got at least enough in my mind, and that's one of my takeaways from E3 is that we're kind of at the point where we should just be focusing on scale now and getting more
new
art
content,
and not
it's like that's
noodling the current stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
I did hear, but that goes to your question of how done do we need to be? Because I did hear some people unknowingly stumble on things that the animators and we've been grappling with. Like, well, some people were saying like, when I sprint, it feels really good. It's like head down, running all the way.
Which was totally opposite to what the GameSpot article said about it.
Really? Okay, right. But then they were saying, but then when I'm running around normal, it felt kind of oddly mechanical. They were describing what we know is that we're separated in the middle and we have a top and a bottom animation set. But when you sprint, it's full body. And everybody's saying that essentially, without knowing it, they were saying the full body animation stuff feels really good.
Yeah.
And that's you can't argue that it does feel good. So.
Yeah. But now, how many people said that? Because I'm not saying in the same way that I heard out of the 100 people I talked to, 2 people mentioned, oh, there were some weird pops in the animation.
Okay.
Both of them were developers, or one was a journalist, one was a developer. How many people were the ones saying what you're saying about the...
Right, so 2 of them were developers and one of them was not. And 2 of them were standing together when we talked about it. So they keyed in together.
So, when you're, it's just, you got to know how to take the information. I'm not saying it's wrong, I totally agree. Okay, so you're talking about art. So art style aside, what else did you say you picked
Well,
up
just
on?
observing people play the game. I think a lot of people, and because of the genre, I think we have a lot of things right. It seems like they intuitively were able to jump into the game and just start playing right away. But we still have some issues with just discoverability of features.
Right.
I know we'll eventually have like a training mode and everything.
Yeah,
but Tobin mentioned the hand, and just I think a lot of like the L1 agility moves. I saw players play Punk and never do a dive kick, or play Alan and never go invisible.
So that's the hard part about having a game that is this mechanically rich at a show like E3. It's like. By the end of it, because I saw journalists, the GameSpot guy, and again, it's not like, oh, he should be held to a high standard, whatever. But he got so much wrong about what the mechanics were, which I don't blame him for. There was part of me going, man, we should have just done let's just have a guy there with a little headset and a small speaker and just walking them through everything. Because
I don't even think anyone was looking at. We had the cards there.
But we can't. I don't think that's a failure. The game will have a tutorial. The game will have a training room where you can play with all the weapons and everything. It's just, I think, given that this was sort of will be most people's initial pick up and play, I thought it was fine in regards to, because would you really expect them to be doing advanced moves right out the gate?
Right.
Most people pick up a fighting game and they just bang on the buttons and see what happens at first, and then they kind of fall in love with it, hopefully.
Yeah,
and they start
trying to survive.
It's that initial level of shallowness that we want, that we have.
We have to have.
And the hope is that deeper stuff gets revealed slowly as they play. So standing there at E3, nobody found it. That made total sense.
And I saw that happen, because there are 4 people who came through over and over again.
Yeah,
so
I
I
saw it
see
too.
people who play the first time and they mainly use their weapon, their toggle weapon, and then maybe by the end of the match they've used a special, and then they're like, okay, they come back again. Now they realize the specials are there and they're using them more frequently. And then by the end of that match, they're using the hand. So I did see that progression on some people who came back.
I would be curious. I don't know if we had more return players. Probably not as many as. Maybe it's just the genre. I'm sure Street Fighter V, which I thought looked beautiful, I will never be able to play it because I can't play those games, but it was gorgeous looking. I'm sure they had a lot of repeat people, whereas I'm sure how many people waited in line to see Horizon, Guardian, and Uncharted, probably you don't wait, so I don't know, but I was surprised at the number and the intensity of the repeat players.
We had a repeat person, they came back, not just once or twice, they came back a lot. I was talking to this one guy, he said he had played it over a dozen times. Just coming back again and again.
Yeah, I got a couple comments that our game is addicting, so that's one of the coolest things I heard.
That's because we have aspartame in it. But.
So I was there on day 1 and day 2, and actually saw the same people come back between both days as well.
Yeah.
So it's just like, oh wow, you're back again.
Yeah.
And they had a lot of cool stuff to say. So.
Any other big takeaways? Oh, the GameSpot, real quick. The GameSpot. So there were two there were some good negative things to take from that article, and one other negative article, which was somebody mentioned the sprint. He mentioned in GameSpot, that the sprint
Should be double tap instead of.
Well, there's the issue of should it be toggle on and off, and we've done a version of that before, and it didn't feel good, but we need to revisit that, and we will. But the other thing was he had written that when you sprint, he said it didn't feel like a sprint in other games where you're able to rotate and take corners. It felt like a sprint that was just like, your Juggernaut in Marvel Comics, and you just kind of go straight.
Yeah.
And so and I think that's just a tuning variable of sort of what the turn rate is when you're sprinting that we should look at. So there were about 2 or 3 things from that article we should take. I think it's like, we should work on improving this. But then the one that I heard from him and one other person was like, the people take too long to die. And what was weird about that, I mean, it totally makes sense, but that's the danger of not having training. Because he had said specifically, well, when I'm using my machine gun or I'm using one of these hard-to-load weapons or whatever, it still feels about the same. But he didn't know, for example, to charge up the missile launcher, the quad missile launcher.
Right.
So people who were using the quad missile launcher were only getting 20 points of damage because they were only firing 1 missile, but you could actually do 80 points of damage. So you have to know how to read that feedback and make sure an actual player to the game will have gone through a weapon tutorial and they'll know that stuff. Okay, you weren't there, right?
Yeah, I didn't harass you on the floor, but I was there. I would too. I would be like, behind you, right in front of you in your line of view when you're on camera.
Okay.
But so to that point about it taking too long to kill people, I heard, and not just to be like the mouthpiece to the game, but I swear that I heard somebody take away the opposite, which is what we absolutely wanted. They said it took a while to actually mow people down, and in that time you get to know that these players have these abilities. Like, all of a sudden Cyborg is up and gone, flying away. So if you just put 3 bullets on somebody and they're gone, you don't get the depth of the character interactions. So I don't know, do we want to tune that?
No, I mean, look, my mind's always open, and we'll see what people think when we get the game out this summer to early players, but certain things like the sprint comment, certain things like, we should tune this weapon, that stuff we have to do. But fundamentally, the shooting is not meant to feel, and I don't mean that like, it's a badge of honor. It sucks. There are some people who are going to come to this game and expect to kill somebody in 2 or 3 hits because that's what they've been trained to do with almost all the other shooters, and we're not going to give them that, and some people are going to feel the game is shitty for that. But I don't think we should be making any other kind of game. I mean, I don't want us to make a game that's feels like the death pacing of those other games, because I hate
the running out there. Yeah, the running out there.
Okay, so you watched E3 kind of remotely from afar. What were your observations?
I'm very grateful and thankful for all the people that stopped by to play the game, whether they wrote, they had positive, negative comments. It was awesome to see, just any news about the game, and seeing people get their hands on it. Super exciting. It seemed like a really good E3 from afar. Like, there was a lot of exciting announcements, and like, if you're a 20-something to late 30-something gamer, there's a lot of fun fanboy things that are coming that people are really excited about. So I think it was a good E3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Corinne, you were there. What do you think?
Yeah, it was really cool getting to see people like play our game and hang out, especially the repeat people. And it was really cool when someone would discover a new move that they hadn't like previously seen. Like, they'll see either another character on the map use it, or just kind of like, well, what's this button do? And like, some people are like, oh, okay, cool. What can I do with this? And then they shoot off like Punk's riff, and they see that Devil's Rush go off, and they're like, oh my gosh, it's so awesome. So it was really cool to see that like sense of discovery and people really seeing like the depth of our game, and even people doing fights and having them be like tactical about it. Like, I'd watch 2 people kind of go at it, and then like one person run away, get health, hide behind a corner, and I saw someone do, someone rounded the corner and they got shot in the face with a sexy beast. And it was just like, you could just tell the satisfaction of that person, like, oh, I got you. It was really fun just to see the energy from the people who were playing.
Did you, I mean, as sort of the primary person who put that level together, I mean, what do you think about, the sense of kind of saying, I mean, no one had anything but great things to say about the art. So can you look at that level, which we showed Alien Town, and kind of go, yeah, that's done?
I think so, yeah. I think there's maybe like 1 or 2 little like polish tweaks that we got to do to it. But I'd say that like, yeah, it's I think it's good for like our beta.
Putting it out there.
Yeah, putting it out there, having people bang on it a bit.
Did you go? Did you talk? God, it was a long conversation. I don't think so.
Yeah,
Didn't
I talked about the art stuff.
Oh, the art stuff. Yeah. So that was our E3, right? We got great. Mostly, I would say the vast majority was positive.
Right.
We got a couple nice awards. So thank you for those. I don't know. I think we're ready to kind of put it behind us and not think about it. Like Nick said this morning, take the good, which we have written down. We're going to start addressing that.
Sure.
Take the bad. Sorry, take the criticisms. Work on the ones that we care about. Ignore the other ones, and forget everything else and get our heads back down and start making.
I want to thank
shit.
the art team. I want to thank the art guys for killing it.
Well, they're right across the hall.
They are. And well, and Karen too, and Chris, and all those guys, because it's hard, and people overseas too. Just because.
Shout out to Simon.
Yeah.
Shout out to Simon and Nafisa and Andrew, and just the concept guys, but also the artists getting it rolling. And Brian's not in here, but yeah, so many kudos and so many people love on the floor for the art style. So it's all
that's true.
Absolutely.
That is true.
Well, no, him because I'm the art director. I'm like, no, it's
All right.
it's funneling. It's madness.
Yeah, edit this shit out. We want to hear the dirt. People don't want to hear. They want to hear the
Your dirt is hard.
Okay, last thing we're done. Other than our game, of course, best thing, no pontification, just the title. Best thing in E3.
Star Wars Battlefield was pretty fucking cool.
That was pontification.
Battleborn.
You're out, you lose. Battleborn?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Watam. I saw that.
Okay.
Unraveled.
Okay. Chris wasn't there, but we just watched it online.
Pass.
Okay.
Horizon.
Okay. You waited in the thing? You saw the whole thing?
No, just from what I've seen.
Last Guardian.
I would say, what is that game called? The 16-bit RPG from the guy who made Cthulhu Saves the World. Something Heroine. It's not Codename Heroine. It's like
It should be that.
Sonic Star. It's this really cool RPG that feels like Phantasy Star on the Sega Genesis.
Okay.
I love that.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, it's really cool. That was at the Sony booth. So, all right, thank you guys for watching this monumentally long Friday forum update on a Monday, and we hope you're doing well. And check the forum for feedback. A lot of you guys who have written in, we've already done some of the feedback this weekend. We'll probably finish up, and then Nick's mailing shit out with Q today for
everyone that
winners.
responded. Which
I heard we should do another. The guy who does a lot of the Twitch stuff said, "Oh, you shouldn't do it once a month. You should do it at least twice a week. I mean, twice a month." So I said, I don't know if that's going to be possible.
Not till after July.
Yeah, I mean, unless we're doing it here for like an hour at lunch, but we'll figure it out. Anyway, all right, we'll see you guys. See you, bye.